Whether it's buying your first car, finding a time to meet, or choosing a restaurant, life is just one big negotiation. So we ought to get good at it. And like anything else we try to get good at, practice makes perfect. So why not try to negotiate everything? Last year, I spent a lot of time on Facebook Marketplace. I was decorating my room and redecorating my apartment, and I already thrift most of my clothing. So I was like, let me also, try to do a lot of this secondhand. I didn't want to, have to buy from Amazon or buy a bunch of new stuff of IKEA. I am a student. I am broke. And it taught me a lot. I'm already a business student. I've already worked inside of sales roles. So I do already have this concept of negotiate everything down. But I feel like for a lot of people, it brings a lot of anxiety. Well, I know that for a lot of people, it brings a lot of anxiety. But you have to think of it in the regard of $5 off of your next 100 purchases is $500 to use on anything, maybe something that you can't get a discount on. So you might as well do it. But there are a bunch of reasons why we don't negotiate. One example is salaries. I have tried to negotiate every single one of my internship salaries and I've never gotten it. But I'm exercising the muscle of asking. Typically speaking, and unless you're about to work for a very toxic workplace, in that case, you're better off not getting it anyways. You will not lose that position just for asking. I have never lost an internship offer for asking. It is largely accepted to ask, whether that's for a raise or, for a better starting salary and so on. You might as well ask. The worst they can say is no. I mean, there's that saying, but, there are worse things people can do. But when it comes to this, typically the worst thing they can say is no. So you might as well try and don't have the anxiety of losing out on an opportunity or looking like a fool for doing it. When you negotiate, people do take you seriously, and typically humans do enjoy negotiating to an extent, or at least finding a good deal, or they're open to finding a compromise that works for both people. Some people, they're not okay with it at all, and in that case, you just take what they're offering or you give whatever they're asking, and it's whatever. But we might as well at least, see. Even inside of something like YouTube videos, I am constantly negotiating with you guys. Some of you want to click off, some of you want to stay, and I don't know necessarily where anybody is at any point in time, so I constantly have to offer up more and more entertainment or advice or just something that keeps you engaged. I need to negotiate with you when you click on a video, and I need to make sure that it is an enticing offer. You're negotiating everything. Now, an important tool to use, and low-key, an important thing to live by, and I've been living by this nowadays, is asking, what can I or what can they afford, right? When we hear no, sometimes we just think, oh, they don't want it at all, right? But sometimes it's just a misalignment on where the value is, right? If I think that it's $5, I might be saying no to the $5. Maybe I'm saying no to the item just by itself. But when you realize that everything is negotiable to an extent, right? You start to look for creative ways to make the deal work. Whether it's, hey man, I want to go to the movies. Well, I don't want to go to the movies. Okay, well, hold on. Would you like to go to the movies at a different time? And we'll even throw in dinner afterwards. They have some things to work with, right? But if you just took that no, then you would have just thought that they don't want to hang out with you at all, right? When we ask, okay, and, or what can they afford? Or when people ask us, hey, would you like to do this thing? Or, hey, can I pay you this amount for this thing, right? We think to ourselves, okay, well, what can I work with, rather than just flat out no's? Your life will become a lot more colorful, and you can start creatively looking at ways to make things work for you in a way that, is conducive and so on. The important thing is to know how much things are worth to you. It's about leverage. If you know that something is very, very important to you, why not try to get it at a lower price so you get that surplus of like, I got it for less than I think it's worth, right? Or if you're going into a negotiation and you're trying to buy something, doing some research, and it's like, okay, well, how much is this worth to me? If it's not worth that much, I don't want to pay all that much, right? Or if it's really worth it to me, like, what's my ceiling? And maybe I can offer a little bit more so that, they actually go with me. When I was getting my apartment with some friends, there was another group of guys that wanted that apartment. And we worked like twice as fast, and we asked her, like, what's everything that you need, we will get it to you like in 3 days, right? Understanding what the other person is looking for, you can negotiate these things and put yourself in a better position to get the things that you want. But it's also important to know what your cutoff point is. And I learned this from a sales like guru guy. His name is Chris Croft, and he has this like cutoff point or walk away point, right? And I thought that was very interesting. And he said, if you can't walk away, you've got nothing. Understanding that, hey, I think that this is worth this. This is the lowest I'll go, or this is the highest I'll go. And if they can't meet me there, like, I can always just find somebody else, or I can always just look for like that deal later, or I just forgo it altogether and it won't be the end of the world for me. You have leverage there, right? That goes for business. I will only be treated so poorly, or maybe I'll only accept so much gratitude and so many gifts before this is low-key like corruption, right? And there are companies that have policies around this. You can't accept gifts of a certain value and so on. And if you're treated a certain way by your boss, you can report them, right? Maybe in your relationships, if I'm treated a certain way, I will walk away from this relationship. You know what I mean? Or if someone treats me to this standard, I will actually entertain their presence and their advances and so on, right? There's a million different ways that we can look at this, but it's understanding that it's all a negotiation will help you navigate these things better than most people. But let me know what you think. And let me know about negotiations that have gone well or maybe not well. And, let me know about them in the comments. But we'll leave that for there. In the meantime, I'll see you guys on the next one.